We are living in exciting times. A new industrial revolution is upon us, and it's all about making things digitally. At the heart of this revolution is 3D printing, a technology that's turning digital designs into physical objects right before our eyes. Two of the most popular 3D printing methods are FDM and resin printing. Both can create amazing things, from toys and prototypes to tools and even jewelry. But they work in very different ways, each with its own strengths and weaknesses. Let's take a closer look at these two fascinating technologies and see how they stack up against each other. By the end, you'll have a good understanding of which printing method is right for your needs. CFDM stands for Fused Deposition Modeling. It's like a hot glue gun attached to a robot. Imagine this: a spool of plastic filament, like a long thin wire, feeds into the printer. The printer heats the filament until it melts. The printer then precisely draws the melted plastic onto a build platform, layer by layer. It's like creating a sculpture with a hot glue gun, but with incredible precision. As each layer cools and hardens, it bonds to the layer below, slowly building up a three-dimensional object. FDM printers typically use materials like ABS and PLA. ABS is tough, impact-resistant, and good for making durable parts. PLA is biodegradable and easier to print with, making it great for beginners and hobbyists. One of the biggest advantages of FDM printing is its affordability. FDM printers are generally cheaper than resin printers, and the materials are readily available and inexpensive. FDM printing is also relatively forgiving, making it a good option for beginners. Resin printing, also known as stereolithography, SLA, is a completely different beast. Instead of melting plastic, it uses liquid resin that hardens when exposed to ultraviolet light. Imagine a vat filled with this special liquid resin. A platform sits just below the surface. A UV light source, often a laser or projector, shines onto the resin, curing it in the precise shape of each layer of the 3D model. The platform then moves down and the process repeats, building the object layer by layer from the bottom up. Resin comes in many varieties, each with its own properties. Some resins are tough and impact resistant, while others are flexible or even transparent. This variety makes resin printing ideal for a wide range of applications. The real magic of resin printing is its incredible detail. The liquid resin allows for much finer resolution than FDM printing, resulting in smoother surfaces and sharper details. This makes resin printing perfect for intricate models, miniatures, jewelry, and anything requiring high precision. When it comes to cost, FDM printing generally takes the crown for affordability. FDM printers are often significantly cheaper than resin printers, especially at the entry level. The materials for FDM printing, like ABS and PLA filament, are also very affordable. You can find large spools of filament for a fraction of the cost of resin. Resin printing, on the other hand, can be more expensive. Resin printers themselves generally cost more, and the resin materials are pricier than filament. However, the cost of resin printing has been coming down in recent years, making it a more accessible option for hobbyists and makers. In the realm of detail and finish, resin printing reigns supreme. The liquid nature of the resin allows for significantly finer resolution than FDM printing. This means smoother surfaces, sharper details, and a more polished look overall. FDM prints, while still impressive, often have visible layer lines, those telltale ridges that give away their 3D printed nature. These layer lines can be minimized with sanding and post-processing, but they are inherent to the FDM process. Resin prints, on the other hand, can achieve a level of smoothness and detail that rivals injection molding. This makes resin printing the go-to choice for applications where surface finish and fine details are paramount. Need for speed printing at different paces. When it comes to printing speed, FDM printing generally has the edge. FDM printers can lay down material relatively quickly, especially when printing larger objects. The speed of FDM printing can vary depending on factors like layer height and printing speed settings. Resin printing, with its layer-by-layer curing process, tends to be slower than FDM printing. The curing time for each layer can vary depending on the resin type and the power of the UV light source. However, recent advancements in resin printing technology have led to faster curing times, narrowing the gap between FDM and resin printing speeds. User-friendly face-off. Which one is easier, FDM printing is generally considered more beginner-friendly than resin printing. FDM printers are relatively straightforward to set up and use. The printing process itself is also fairly forgiving. Resin printing, while becoming more user-friendly, can be a bit more involved. Resin printers require more calibration and fine-tuning. Additionally, working with liquid resin can be messy and requires extra care. However, many modern resin printers come with user-friendly features and software that make the process more accessible to beginners. Finding the right fit FDM versus resin for you. So which type of 3D printer is right for you? The answer, as with most things in life, is it depends. FDM printing is a great choice if you are on a budget, need to print large objects, value durability and impact resistance, or are new to 3D printing. Resin printing is a good option if you need the highest level of detail and finish, are creating intricate models, miniatures or jewelry, prioritize surface finish over speed, or are comfortable with a bit of a learning curve. Ultimately, the best way to decide is to consider your specific needs, budget, and what you plan to create with your 3D printer. The future of making 3D printing's next chapter. FDM and resin printing are just two of many 3D printing technologies rapidly evolving. As these technologies continue to improve and become more accessible, we can expect to see even more creative and innovative applications for 3D printing in the years to come. From personalized medicine and custom prosthetics to sustainable manufacturing and on-demand production, the future of 3D printing is bright. The possibilities are limited only by our imagination.